Imagine it is Friday evening, exactly 5 o'clock. You have just survived another grueling 40-hour work week. Your back aches from sitting in a cheap office chair, your eyes are burning from staring at spreadsheets, and your brain feels completely fried. You walk out of the glass building, and a coworker turns to you and says the three most common words in the modern corporate world: need a drink? Within an hour, you are sitting in a loud, crowded bar. You take that first cold sip of beer. Instantly, your shoulders drop. The stress of your inbox, your demanding boss, and your endless bills begins to fade into a warm, comfortable numbness. You are participating in a ritual that spans across every modern society on Earth. We drink to celebrate. We drink to mourn. We drink to network. And most of all, we drink to cope. But if you rewind the clock and look at human history, a strange question emerges. Alcohol is literally a toxic poison. It impairs your judgment, destroys your liver, and makes you deeply vulnerable to predators. So, when did ancient humans start drinking alcohol? And why would our ancestors ever consume something that made them slower and weaker in a world where survival meant staying sharp? Modern society likes to think that ancient humans invented alcohol just to have fun around the campfire. But the truth is rooted in a fascinating, desperate mechanism of evolution, and understanding how we started drinking reveals one of the most brilliant, invisible, and devastating methods of control used by modern corporations today. 10 million years ago, our early primate ancestors were living in the dense, tropical canopies of Africa. For millions of years, they swung from branches and ate fresh, ripe fruit. But then, the climate changed. The earth cooled. The vast forests began to shrink, forcing our ancestors to climb down from the safety of the trees and walk on the dangerous open ground. They were starving. Finding food became a brutal daily struggle. But on the forest floor, they discovered something new: fallen, rotting fruit. When fruit falls from a tree and sits in the warm sun, wild yeast lands on it. The yeast eats the sugar in the fruit and excretes a chemical byproduct. That byproduct is ethanol, alcohol. Eating this rotting fermented fruit was dangerous, but it had a massive evolutionary advantage. Ethanol is incredibly rich in calories. It has nearly twice the caloric density of carbohydrates. For a starving ape, a pile of fermented fruit was a literal goldmine of energy. But there was a problem. The ethanol was highly toxic. Any ape that ate too much of it would stumble around, fall over, and be immediately eaten by a leopard. So, evolution stepped in. Around 10 million years ago, a random genetic mutation occurred in our ancestors. It created an enzyme called ADH4, which allowed the primate digestive system to process and break down ethanol 40 times faster than before. This is known as the Drunken Monkey Hypothesis. We didn't evolve to drink alcohol to get drunk. We evolved to metabolize alcohol so we wouldn't starve to death while eating rotten fruit. For millions of years, alcohol was just a rare, accidental survival tool. Even when ancient hunter-gatherers eventually learned how to brew early forms of beer, it wasn't a party drug. In ancient times, water from rivers was often heavily contaminated with deadly bacteria. Fermenting grains into weak beer was a way to sanitize the water. It kept them hydrated and alive. In the ancient world, alcohol served a strict biological purpose. But fast forward to the modern era, and the biological necessity is completely gone. You have perfectly clean, purified water flowing directly out of the tap in your kitchen. You have access to thousands of calories in your refrigerator. You do not need ethanol to survive. Yet the global alcohol industry is currently worth over $1.6 trillion. How did a chemical that we evolved to tolerate as a desperate survival mechanism become the center of modern human existence? To find the answer, you have to look at the dark side of the Industrial Revolution and the modern corporate machine that replaced it. In the 19th and 20th centuries, humans were pulled out of nature and shoved into dark, dangerous factories, and later, cramped gray office cubicles. We were forced to perform unnatural, repetitive tasks for 8 to 12 hours a day, staring at screens, answering to managers, and ignoring our deep, ancient instincts to move, explore, and create. The modern work week is profoundly unnatural. It causes a massive buildup of chronic stress, anxiety, and depression. And the executives running the system realized a terrifying truth. If you push human beings too hard, if you make them too miserable without offering an escape valve, they will eventually break. They will quit. They will rebel. Or worse, they will use their weekends to build their own businesses and escape the system entirely. The system needed a pacifier. It needed a way to chemically sedate the workforce just enough to keep them compliant, but not enough to kill them. Enter big alcohol. Over the last century, a multi-billion-dollar marketing machine successfully normalized the consumption of a highly addictive poison. They created a culture where you are considered strange, boring, or suspicious if you do not drink. Think about the concept of happy hour. It is no coincidence that happy hour starts at exactly 5 p.m. on Friday, the exact moment the corporate work week ends. The bars are located directly below the office buildings. The system is offering you an immediate, state-sanctioned chemical reward for enduring 5 days of misery. But let's be brutally honest about what alcohol actually is. According to the World Health Organization, alcohol is a Group 1 carcinogen. That means it is in the exact same scientific category as asbestos, radiation, and tobacco smoke. There is no safe level of alcohol consumption. It shrinks your brain volume, disrupts your REM sleep, and drastically increases your risk of developing severe diseases. If a pharmaceutical company invented alcohol today and tried to get it approved by the FDA, it would be universally banned as a highly dangerous neurotoxin. But instead, it is sold in brightly colored cans. It is sponsored by your favorite sports teams. Commercials show beautiful, successful, smiling people clinking glasses on yachts. The marketing executives have successfully hijacked your ancient evolutionary programming. They took the survival instinct of the drunken monkey and weaponized it to keep you trapped in the matrix. When you spend your Friday night drinking and your Saturday morning recovering from a hangover, you are losing more than just brain cells. You are losing your most valuable asset, your energy. A hungover population is a docile population. When your dopamine receptors are fried from a weekend of binge drinking, you do not have the drive to learn a new skill. You do not have the energy to start a business. You simply endure the weekend haze, and by Sunday night, you are just terrified enough of being broke that you wake up on Monday morning and get back in the cubicle. Alcohol is the perfect tool for maintaining the status quo. They break your spirit from Monday to Friday, and they sell you the Band-Aid on Friday night. The ancient humans didn't have to drink to escape their reality, because their reality was aligned with their nature. They were free. You are not drinking because you are a defective person. You are drinking because you are an ancient, wild animal trapped in a highly unnatural, incredibly stressful concrete cage. When you remove the chemical pacifier, you are forced to actually face your reality. And that is where your true power lies. Sobriety in the modern world is not just a health choice. It is an act of rebellion. It is a refusal to be sedated. The system wants you tired. The system wants you numb. The system wants you looking forward to happy hour so you never look forward to a better life. Put the glass down, wake up, and take your mind back.